every time in the last 5 years that I would slip into that survivor's remorse, I would remember when I ended up in the hospital from working those 18-hour days. I would remember how my last relationship suffered because I was working so hard that I lost my last relationship because I was putting so much into my business that I wasn't able to nurture my last relationship. I think about all the sacrifices that I had to make to get where I'm at right now, and that gets rid of my survivor's remorse. I earned everything.
Yeah. Are you ready? We're gonna run the play. Let's go. Do you know what it's like to come from nothing at all, but every day you just wanting it all? Do you know what it's like? Every day facing your fear, but believing that your blessing is near. Do you know what it's like? Growing up broken than most, but still being devoted the most. Do you know what it's like? Yeah, that's what the journey's about. Yeah. Let me show you.
What's going on, y'all? This is Justin Owens. This is the Run the Play show where I help break down the top plays of success from top leaders, entrepreneurs, and personalities by sharing gems from their personal playbook. And today I'm excited. Listen, I have the CEO of Good Energy Worldwide. He's a trucking consultant. He has made his name synonymous with trucking, public speaker, serial entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the locker room.
What's
my
up?
brother, Mr. Alix Burton. How you feeling, man?
Man, sensational.
Man, I love it, man. Looking good, man. Like you just looking healthy. It's just
man.
Life has been exceptional for you, man. So I'm just excited for one, not only the relationship we have, but just the impact, man. You've been able to make on so many people's lives, bro. Like every time we go to events, like you, the person that's always gonna be like shaking hands, kissing babies. You know what I'm saying? Which I think really shares your heart towards people, which is special. I want to ask you a question. Like, what is, because we know about trucking, what is a talent that you have that probably most people have no clue that
Oh, man, a talent, honestly, bro, during the pandemic, we was locked down. And I made my mind up that I wanted to leave out of the lockdown with a new skill.
Yeah.
And I'm just in a point in my life, Justin, where, like, if I don't have fun doing it, even if it's for revenue, like I'm just not interested. Like anything that I do from this point on, I gotta enjoy doing it. And I'm a music fanatic. I love music.
Yep.
I used to sing. I used to rap. I actually won every year of my talent show in high school. Like I used to think I was gonna be like the next Drake, for real. But that didn't go as planned. So I pivoted. But I'm a really good DJ, bro. Like I taught myself how to DJ during the pandemic.
That's tight.
And I just practiced. I ordered all the equipment, went on YouTube, learned how everything worked, and I stayed in the house for 6 months straight. And I just practiced, and now I actually know how to DJ, and I'm really, really good.
That's what's up. So what's your DJ name?
You know what's so funny? I haven't started DJing like public yet, but I think I'm gonna go back to my name that I was when I was a promoter, which is Sincere.
There we go.
So I think I'm gonna bring Sincere back. You know what I'm saying?
Alter ego.
Yeah.
Let's talk about business really quick because, you know, obviously you are in a place where a lot of people would strive to be. You know, you've really dominated your space. And a lot of people, they always look at that story, but they don't see a lot of the stuff that went into developing the story. Yeah. So I like the way I like to have the conversation, if you're talking to the 18, 19-year-old Alix that's looking at, okay, how do I find a space, a career that I want to get into? What are some things that you learned in your process before the Alix that we see today that's made you to who you are?
I think one of the best and most important decisions that I made, Justin, was going against the grain.
Got it.
And what does going against the grain mean? For me, it meant that everybody around me at the time was doing things that was super cool. It was a lot of people that were still throwing parties, and I'm not throwing no shade to them, but like it was people throwing parties, it was people rapping, it was you know, women were selling hair, and not saying I would sell hair, but it was just like these little niches, industries that everybody was kind of like doing. And for me, I was like, man, like what can I do that no matter what happens, it's still gonna be here?
Got it.
Right? Yep. And I feel like the word generational wealth is just thrown around really loosely. And you got to be super intentional with what industry that you want to enter in if that's your goal, which is to create generational wealth. So as I'm doing my research in 2012, I had some capital, I had a line of credit, and I was like, okay, what industry do I go into? I was like, let's get into transportation.
Got it.
Transportation is an industry that it's impossible for it to stop. Yeah. It's literally impossible. And there's so many different forms of transportation. And until you kind of like think about it, you don't realize how vital it is.
Yeah, because it ain't going nowhere. I think you said it before too, is like if trucks stop moving, transportation stop moving, the world shuts down.
The world literally shuts down. Literally. Like, you know, I always joke about the movie The Purge. If you want to see the real purge in real life, let those trucks stop delivering food to the supermarkets.
Yeah. That
Right?
makes sense. Yeah.
And let's get real. Like, real estate, they say, is the industry that creates the most millionaires, right? We've heard that. And it's real.
Uh-huh. That and network marketing, but that's, you know.
Yeah, okay. For sure. Right? But I tell you all the time, like, yo, without trucks, there's no real estate.
Yeah.
Right? The materials to build houses, etc. Where they come from.
Yeah. And somebody got to deliver it.
Right? But guess what exists without real estate? Trucking. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is when everybody go left, you go right.
Yeah. Because absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think that's a lesson for sure. Is you got to find your own lane, because I look back to when I first, like, your page has grown aggressively, but I'm always thinking about, like, you know, like at one time you had 8,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and now it's like, okay, all of a sudden I remember just seeing you post a whole bunch of trucking content. I was like, okay, that's interesting. But it wasn't the funny videos that everybody's posting. It wasn't somebody, you know, being a rapper. It wasn't like a sexy thing to post initially.
Nah, not at all.
So, like, what was that process like? Okay, all right, you know, I'm just gonna go heavy into I'm going to be posting content around trucking.
I'm going to be real with you. This is 2016, 17 when I started really posting the content. But I'm going to be real with you. It wasn't even intentional. Trucking consumed my entire life.
Yeah.
Right? So literally when I woke up to when I went to sleep, it was trucking.
Got it.
Whether it was dispatching my trucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's all. That was my entire life. So all I had to post at that time was trucking, because I was on social media. That's all I had going on.
Yeah.
It's just so funny how it worked out, because as I'm doing this, it's starting to now pique interest for people.
Yeah.
Then I messed around and showed one of my friends how to get into trucking. And I just randomly just documented it. We was out and I'm like, yo, I just put my boy Danny on.
Yep.
He got his first truck.
Wow.
And congratulations to him. I got him out the streets. From then I started getting DMs. Yo, I seen what you did for that dude. Like, I'm interested in doing the same thing. And then that turned into 3 clients. I didn't even know what to charge. Like, it wasn't a business. I didn't have a consulting business. It wasn't a business plan. So it just went, the DMs just kept coming in. Now I got 5 clients. I'm charging like $1,500.
How about I ask you, so how do you even find out? You be like, yo, what's your budget? Or like, what was it?
$1,500 just sounded like a good number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
$1,500.
Yeah.
Come to my. I was using the clubhouse in my apartment building.
Wow.
That was my office. I used to go down where the gym was at, and $1,500. And I was like, okay, this is some good money. And I was helping them 3 months. You had access to me, but then I had a waiting list of like 20 people, and I'm like, now I'm like, it's consuming me now.
Yeah.
So I went up to 3,000.
Yeah.
Then I went up to 5. Then I went up to 10. Man, bro, like, by me posting that content, it started like becoming where I'm the go-to person, because I'm the only person posting trucking content at this time.
Right.
And it wasn't sexy.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing my page is growing, but not only is it growing, it's growing from people who are interested in my services.
Right.
Because I'm just pumping out the content, so I'm just seeing different pages, and then my DMs start flooding now. Everybody interested. So that's that was a blessing for me, man. Not realizing that it would turn into what it turned into, which I'm sure we're gonna get into.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always have a section, and I normally bring it up towards the end, but I'll bring it up now because I think it fits where we're going.
Yeah.
It's called Breakdown of Breakthroughs.
Okay.
And I always believe a person they'll have a breakdown in their life that if you learned a lesson from it, it can be a breakthrough for your future.
Yeah.
Have you had a breakdown in your career, your business, where it's like, okay, you learned something, but once you learned something from it, it took you to the next level?
Man, one thing I would say, the first thing that came to my mind when you asked me that was, and I love interviews like this where we don't kind of give me the questions ahead of time, because I really got to just answer from the heart. Man, I had some traumatic experiences in trucking where I've had my truck stolen before from a driver.
Like the person working for you?
Correct. I've had freight stolen off of my trailer and sold to like one of them thrift shops by a driver.
What?
I've had drivers doing drugs in my trucks. Like if you can create or think about the worst thing that a driver can do to a fleet owner, I probably experienced it, fam. And this is like early, like this is like 2017, 18. You know what I'm saying?
Those L's they're a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I wasn't really prepared financially for them type of L's, right?
Yeah.
So when I went through them, I'm like, so many times I wanted to just throw in the towel, like, man, this ain't even worth it. Like, I'm ready to go looking for this dude with my firearm. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, is this really worth it? But like, what happened was once I went through those experiences, it taught me that you'll lose more money hiring the wrong driver than just letting your truck sit. And that's a phrase that I share with my community and my students. I'm gonna say it again, you'll lose more money hiring the wrong drivers than just letting your truck sit. Right? Because you got a truck, you thinking like, damn, if my truck is sitting, I'm losing money. Like you get desperate. Like I just want to get somebody in it to get up and running. So when I went through those L's, now I'm taking my time to find my drivers now. Now I'm like, you know what? Let me, if my truck got to sit for a couple months until I find the right driver with the right energy, with the right record, most importantly, the right energy though. I can't even like gloss over that because that was something for me. Like a lot of people, you'll get a driver or even just an employee for any business. You'll see the resume. The resume look good. They got experience. They got all the licenses, all that good stuff. And then you have an interview with them, and then they think they know it all.
Right.
They try to tell you. You know what I'm saying? They just giving off that I know it all. You know what I'm saying? Energy.
Yeah. And that's a red flag for you. Interviewing somebody. Okay.
Heck yeah. And that's the first process because that's the first impression that you have. And again, any industry.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is that when you're talking about building a team, that interview, not only are you interviewing that person, they're interviewing you as well.
Right. Yep.
And one thing that I teach is how to conduct a proper interview. What questions do you need to ask? Like I have a questionnaire that I go through when I'm doing an interview with a driver. And it's about 30 questions, right?
Yeah.
And to you, the driver, it might sound like, okay, this is just regular general questions that an employee is going to ask, right?
Yeah.
But I strategically ask certain questions to identify if you full of crap or not.
That's strong.
And you won't even know.
Right.
I just ask certain things. I'm testing your integrity.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I ask is if we had additional training here at the company, what is something that you would say that you're not as strong at with your driving? Like, what is something, if I could provide you extra training, what is something that you would like to improve on when it comes to that, like when it comes down to your driving?
Yeah.
And I hate when a driver just says, "Oh, nah, I'm perfect. Like ain't nothing that I can." Like that's not real.
Yeah, that's real.
So I love that. Gives me the opportunity to let me know, okay, this driver's willing to learn. So a lot of them will say my backing up skills. Like sometimes when I'm backing up this long 18 wheeler into the spot, I might have to do it 2 or 3 times. I love when they're honest with that.
And the other side of the person is probably thinking, if I tell you that I have a problem with this, you're probably not gonna hire me.
Yeah. But I'd rather somebody who don't have as much experience, but they're coachable versus somebody that think they know it all and you can't tell them nothing.
Yeah, that's a bar. Yeah, that's facts. And because, it translates to real business too. Like most companies say a bad hire is way more expensive than anything else. That's why companies spend so much time interviewing people. Like the big companies, they spend so much time because it's like, man, we would rather take our time and hire right than choose quick and hire the wrong person. And then now we've invested time, energy, effort, resource into this one person that's wrong. Now we back at the square one.
Absolutely. And I tell people, patience.
Yeah.
Have patience when it comes down to business, especially trucking.
Yeah.
And I love to get people before because a lot of people come to me after they've already messed up their bag in trucking. Like a lot of people come to me when they're trying to fix their company, right?
Yeah.
I like to get you early. And when I say education before compensation, I want to show you how to keep your overhead low, right? How to get the right amount of insurance where you're not paying too much in insurance every month. Because if you keep your overhead low, now you can afford to let your truck sit while you're finding the right driver.
Right.
See, we get desperate because we got that truck note chasing us, but you accepted the first approval that you got on that truck. So you got the crazy interest rate just because you just desperate. You just trying to get in the trucking because your people, you seeing everybody up and running. So I'm trying to train. I'm trying to teach people, especially in 2023. Let's take our time. Like if you gotta get your credit straight first, so that you can get a good interest rate. Work on your credit first. What's the rush? It ain't going nowhere.
Right. Yeah. That's a fact. So This what goes, you know, like anybody that's been in the entrepreneurship space, they always hear about get you a mentor, find a mentor, and it can almost sound cliche, in a sense, like right, especially if somebody's trying to sell you something. But what it sounds like to me is like with a person when they learn this skill set, they gonna learn a lot of the hurdles that are more expensive than even the mentorship can and should be. So all the lessons you learn, you teach people all of this stuff.
Man, Justin, I'm tell you something. I get annoyed, bro, by like the cliches. There's just a lot of that stuff that's being said that's a part of a sales pitch. Like you need a mentor.
Yeah,
exactly. Bro, I ain't into none of that, bro. Like when I say, I can only speak for trucking, bro.
Yeah.
You cannot get into this game without education.
Yeah.
Like you can go get you a vending machine, maybe you might be able to get you a little laundromat, put it up in, you know what I'm saying? You could do certain things and just kind of figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
But this ain't that game. I don't even care if you don't come to me.
Yeah.
But trucking with all these moving parts, bruh, not only will you be doing yourself a disservice, you'll be doing your family a disservice. Because this ain't the industry you come and playing. This ain't because you will be humbled and you will see your butt out the front door real quick in this industry. So that's why I think that, you know, Good Energy Worldwide, we blew up because, man, it's so funny, man. Industries have peaks and valleys, right? Every industry has its ups and downs. And what I notice is that certain industries or certain gurus, I'm not throwing no shots, but when the industry is doing great, their presence is there, right? But then when things go bad in their industry, they're nowhere to be found, right? So with me, what I realize is that, yo, we have ups and downs in trucking. You seen diesel prices last year; they went to they was the most they ever been, right? The rates had dropped down. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that was going on in China. It was so much stuff going on. But that's where the real coaches and the consultants shine. Because that's, you know what I'm saying?
I remember you was talking about it because you was like, you were telling people, hey, listen, now's not even a good time to buy a truck.
Correct.
What you should do is be learning because the price is too high. You're going to get in a bad deal and now you're going to be paying for it later. So right now, learn about the industry so when the prices drop, now you can jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I'm going to always keep my face clean. And that's why when I go to these conferences, that's why I get that love I get. Because it's not always about the sale. You know how hard it is to be a trucking consultant and have to tell the public right now is not a good time to buy trucks? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be a different type of, you got to be wired a little different with your integrity in order to do stuff like that. But that's why my face is so clean. You dig what I'm saying? I always kept it 100.
Talking about mentorship, can you talk about how like mentorship has helped you in or out of the space? It doesn't matter.
Mentorship, you would have no reason to have me on your show if it wasn't for mentorship. There wouldn't be nothing to talk about with me. It would just be a waste of time for me to be here right now. Mentorship is one thing, but you, again, going back to what I just said, you being able to be coachable to the mentorship is that's it. I don't care who you got in your corner, but if you don't know how to implement what they telling you to do, it don't mean nothing. So not only do I have phenomenal mentors, I got 4 or 5 of them, right? Man, listen, bro, I'm obsessed with taking some good advice and showing them like, yo, I actually listen to you. I don't want you to feel like you wasted your time giving me advice. I got something to show for that advice CJ gave me in 2018. I got something to show for it. He said, look, stop doing one-on-ones. You're only able to do 5-6 clients a month. Put it online, scale up. I said, all right, cool, give me 6 months. I came back with my course completed.
Wow. Right?
That's
strong.
He told me, look, focus on trucking more. Do less of the personal posts and do more trucking on your posts and watch your page grow. I got 250,000 followers to show for that. You dig what I'm saying?
That's strong. So it's the coachability too. It's funny, but the next book that I wrote is called Menteeship. So it's because everybody's talking about how to be a mentor, but it really talks about how do you attract the right mentor, and then how do you stay the right mentee to be able to extract what you need from the mentor? Because a lot of people, they want the mentor, but like you said, they're not coachable, they're not showing, they're not honoring the relationship the right way. And so, man, that is big. I want to ask you something about family and business, because there's a lot of people like, yo, there's no way I do business with family, and you actually have family in your business. How have you been able to make that work?
real simple, man. There's a saying, if you leave a rope on the floor, people are hanging themselves. Right?
Yeah.
I don't give no handouts to my family. I give opportunities.
I like that.
Don't take it.
We're gonna take it for this. This gonna be a clip.
I don't give handouts. I give opportunities. Y'all gotta watch Justin, yo.
No. Dio will take a quote. Dio will take a
Facts.
quote. It'll be all on the event.
Yeah,
you rope
man.
on the ground, you hang yourself.
Facts
Justin
only.
Owens. Nah, go ahead.
Nah, real talk.
Yeah.
So, yo, man, you already know, man, when you and I say this very humbly, when you the golden child of your family, meaning that you're the one that broke a lot of the barriers. You became the first millionaire in your family. You created an amazing business in your family. Obviously, the handouts start, right?
Yeah.
And as big of a heart as I have, I give everybody my last. But I learned from my mentors that you got to give people the opportunity to create their own revenue because they'll always be in your pocket. And God forbid if I was to ever fall, now I've handicapped you.
Yeah. That's a fact.
So I presented an opportunity to my family to dispatch. This is when I was building my dispatch service. So
you did it to the whole family, like, yo.
yeah, whoever wanted to come on. Like, look, this is what I got going on because it was a scalable business. I got my trucks. I was able to get my own trucks, get it up and running. But now I'm dispatching for other companies.
Yeah.
And I can only dispatch 6 to 7 trucks by myself.
Yeah.
So I got more people that's trying to have me dispatch their trucks, and I get a small percentage of their trucks. So I seen an opportunity now to hire people. Because the more trucks I get, the more people that I can hire.
Right.
So if every 6 trucks that I was getting in my dispatch service, I was able to hire another dispatcher. So I started with my cousin Rob. This is like the closest thing I had to a brother. I'm I'm an only child. Never met, only child, no brothers and sisters. So he was who I grew up with, 2 years apart, blood brother, blood cousin. I said, yo, Rob, he had just came home. I said, look, I'm doing this trucking stuff. It's starting to take off. I need help though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fly up to New York. I'm gonna teach you everything I know. It's up to you from there. I flew up to New York. I got to post a picture. I got a picture of when I was in the office. This is 2014, 15.
Wow.
And I'm at his office showing him how to do it. And then, bruh, he messed around and learned it. And then he hired about 10 people up under him. And when I met him, I had 7 trucks in the dispatch service. And now we're up to 100 and something trucks now.
Wow.
But he manages the whole thing. So it's just, I got lucky because Rob is absolutely amazing. And it's so funny because if it wasn't for him coming in and helping me out with that side of the business, I wouldn't have had time to even start the consulting part.
Right.
So that just happened to work. We do have our fights, you know what I'm saying? It do get ugly sometimes. But I tell people, like, as long as you're not stealing from me, as long as I know that you got the company's best interests at heart, and you are operating as if it's 100% your company, I'm rocking with you, man. And from then I had my cousins, they dispatch as well, my little cousins in Brooklyn. And it's just dope. And, you know, now I know you probably going to get on this later, but he's also now a part of my new venture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm not a fan of people that say you can't do business with family. If you got the right family, you can.
Yeah. And I also think what you said was important too is having those, because you will have difficult conversations. Because you will have difficult conversations with anybody that you work with. Yeah. How, just for like a practical tip of like, how are some ways you've been able to handle some of those challenging moments where it's like, okay, I still love you, my family, but yo, this was wrong. We got to fix this. This got to be right. You got to, like, how do you have that conversation and then still be like, okay, hey, let's go celebrate this weekend, have a good time. I'll see you at the anniversary party, wedding, or whatever.
Keep it respectful.
Yeah.
Firm, but respectful. Okay. Still a man.
Yeah.
We've had tough conversations, like, you know, the uncomfortable conversations can sometimes produce beautiful results.
I like that. Uncomfortable conversations can produce beautiful results. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have them uncomfortable in those real conversations. Yeah. And with me, I just feel like this. With humans, everybody is allowed a mistake. Yeah. They're allowed to mess up. And I don't judge people on the mistakes that they've made. I always judge them on how they corrected those mistakes.
Yeah, there you go.
You understand?
Yep.
So And there's times where he had to correct me. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if my name's on the LLC.
Yeah.
It's times where he had to let me know about, let me know about myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got to be able to receive that too. And I think that's why it works.
Yeah.
It's because as much as I get on his butt when he messing up sometimes, he calls me out too.
Yeah.
And I'm humble enough to be like, yo, you know what, cuz, you're right. You're right. I'm gonna fix that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we've been in business for all these years, and we still kept it together.
Yeah. There's another thing that goes around like with entrepreneurs, really, and just people in general. It's like I want to have multiple streams of income.
Yep.
Right. How did you decide when to diversify? Because now obviously you got the lounge. Congratulations on that, and some other businesses, that you have. How did you know it was time, or better yet, how does a person know when it's time to say, okay, I'm gonna diversify and have multiple streams?
When you've milked every stream possible out the foundation industry that you're doing.
Okay, tell me more.
So trucking, like I've been doing trucking for going on 11 years. October 5th.
Yep.
October 5th, 2023 to be 11 years that I've been in trucking, right? And I know that because, I pay attention to all that stuff. Like, I'm real big on anniversaries. Yeah. I have created maybe about 7 to 8 streams of revenue just inside trucking.
Oh, okay.
You understand? I went through and mentorship. CJ was like, diversify within your own industry first. So I literally created multiple streams inside my trucking business. The dispatch service, I got 3 courses. I got the truck parking lot coming up. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
so if y'all listening to him, what he's saying is like, listen, you can have multiple streams, but you can do it inside of your own industry first, and then you say, okay, now let me go out here and start a different company, or maybe
not even that. Not even start a different company. If you gangster, this is how you really can do it. You create the multiple streams of income within the industry that's working for you the most, that's gonna get you paid.
Yeah.
And then you might want to do something that you just really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
I call it a passion project. Crew Alpharetta is a passion project.
Yeah.
I used to be a promoter before trucking, but I knew that I couldn't be a promoter throwing parties and passing out flyers till I was 60, so I got into trucking. So while I built this dynasty in trucking, I kind of missed the industry, but I always said if I do go back into the hospitality industry, I can't just be a promoter. I got to be the owner.
Yeah, I like that.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I had to handle my business with trucking, get all my streams on point first.
Yep.
Now I'm financially in a great position to where now I can start doing some passion projects.
Yeah, that's tight.
That's tight. But you know what's more tight? When the passion project works.
Yeah, it starts
and then
paying.
the passion project starts paying for everything.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like now I'm able to be strategic with the passion projects because I've learned so much with the trucking journey.
Yeah.
I've learned how to be a businessman. I've learned how to build a team.
Yeah.
I learned how to market.
Yeah.
Right? So get this, how I go from owning the trucks, dispatch service, courses, 16 acres for a truck parking lot next year.
Wow.
Right? Mm-hmm. But I learned how to market even with my courses. You can't think about trucking and not see me on your screens.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching this right now, if you've ever even thought about trucks, you seen my face on your screen, you're tired of seeing my ads, right? Mm-hmm. So I learned how to market.
Yep.
So now when I got the lounge, when I got Crew Alpharetta, look, ain't nothing out here. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have went to the city.
Yeah.
Would have been an easier location, but I'm competing with 30 people out there.
Right, yeah.
So why did you take the challenge of coming to Alpharetta?
Mm-hmm. And bring people out here, and they be
You know
showing
what?
up.
But you know why I did it? Because I know how to market.
Right. Smart.
I know how to market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now I'm back doing something that I love.
And you can DJ there.
I can DJ there.
Because you're on the spot. You know what I'm saying? That's tight, bro.
So yeah, man, it's just creating the right streams of income. Right now, if it felt like work, I ain't interested. I did my heavy lifting already, Just.
Yeah.
I did the 18-hour days for 6 years straight. So now I put my work in. Now anything that I invest my money in, it can't feel like work no more.
Yeah. You know what a lot of people gonna miss is out of everything you just said is
What?
you put the 18 hours a day in for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't skip and say, okay, I just want to start something and I want to jump to the multiple streams without doing the 18-hour days for
on,
6
man.
years. You know what I'm saying? That's huge.
on.
Let's jump to a fun topic, right? Dating, right? Like I think the dating space is interesting. Let's just ask this generic question first. How has over the last decade, how have you seen the dating world change for Alix?
Jeez, bro. I'm gonna ask him questions too. He ain't just gonna have me in no fire. This is a conversation. This ain't no interview. We gonna talk.
But just
man.
overall dating space, because dating is different these days. You got social media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different world from even when I was like a kid. It's like you just see somebody at the mall or It's a whole different world.
Okay, so how's it changed in the last 10 years? Definitely, you cannot talk about this topic and not talk about social media.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Social media has literally changed the world, man.
Yeah.
Like, dating, the music scene, just everything has just flipped upside down with this app.
Yeah.
And, you had to get dressed up and go to Publix or,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You had to go to the mall. You had to go to a party to meet somebody. And now the world has just become so much smaller with this internet, bro.
Yeah.
So I think the access to people is just so much easier now. And that definitely, I feel like, increased even the amount that people date.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
You understand?
Because you could see people, like, before you could only see people if they were in your world. Meaning if you saw them somewhere around, you went to a family reunion somewhere, you met some friends, like, it was in your space. And now...
And then you had to have the courage to actually walk up to them,
Right.
have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then you had to get the courage to ask for the number. Like, it was a task. It was like a 3-step process.
Because I definitely had some conversations and didn't ask for the number. I was like,
Hey,
dang,
the vibe wasn't there, right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, man, it's definitely changed. I feel like the music really, really pushes the dating culture.
I agree.
You understand?
Yep.
I really feel like that. I feel like the music, back in the days, it was more of the Jodeci's and the Silks, the Shies. If I ever fall in love again, like
the romantic side.
Keith Sweats,
even men, because it's almost today. It's almost like if a guy's like romantic or it's like, oh, okay, he lame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but music has changed that. I agree.
Yeah, because when you listen to the radio, they was telling you how to love.
Yeah.
Right? Keith Sweat was like, it's a right and the wrong way to love somebody. Like they was teaching you unconsciously to be in love, that being in love was the cool thing.
Yeah.
Talking on the phone for 6 hours was the wave.
Yeah.
But now it's it's city girls.
Which is very interesting because like I even joke about it sometimes with like some of my girlfriends. I'd be like, yo, y'all was over here singing Miss Independent, this and that. But then on the other side, people be like, yo, it's hard to pay these bills by myself. It's like so it's like which one I think people got to start paying attention to what they listening to because you say what you tune into, you turn into. That goes for business, but also goes for personal. Like, yo, if you listening to stuff like this about a relationship and how women should talk and how men should be treating a girl and all this kind of stuff, it can bleed over into your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really hoping that the internet situation and the addiction to social media, I'm hoping that it's just a phase and people kind of balance out. Yeah. Because if they don't, we in trouble.
Yeah, no,
we in trouble. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I agree. I feel like one of these days I get married again, and I do feel like I would have social media, but I would probably have somebody probably running it 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's important, man. So it just kind of make you appreciate. Like me personally, I'm gonna just be real with you. Keep it 100 with you. It's this joke that happens between me and a couple of my friends. Not the circle of CEOs when they married, but if she got under 10,000 followers,
that's the one.
once they get past a certain amount,
it's just
it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody knows what I'm talking about.
No, you gotta keep the following
give
count
me,
gotta be low.
give me the one that we ain't got too many mutuals. You know what I'm saying?
That's great. I agree, bro. It's like, and it got, again, a lot of that's exposure.
Yeah.
You know, you don't be looking for somebody that don't have a. Everybody don't know about it. It was like a secret agent.
Yeah.
Oh snap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
hold on, I got a question for you,
all right,
bro.
go ahead.
So what's your thoughts on, okay, especially like the dating part of it, like before you make it like super official and you're in like a super committed relationship, how do you feel about posting your partner?
You know, I have made a decision that I'm just going to stay away from that because my page is like, maybe until, when I get married, I'll probably do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do some stuff on close friends from time to time, but like, I'm a private person. And so I feel like if you can keep your relationship private, it's safer because you don't have people that's all in your business. For me personally, I don't think I would be doing a lot of posting because one, I don't post a lot of my life anyway because I don't feel like for me to enjoy something, the whole world has to know that I was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the person that when I go, I'm gonna be recording as soon as I walk in the door. That's not. I ain't saying it's wrong if you do it. It's just not my thing. And so I think for a relationship, I think you probably introduce more challenges than necessary, especially if you do it too early. So, yeah,
I agree with you. And I guess you got to ask this question to two different type of men. You got the, and I don't want to say regular men, but men who don't have 250,000 followers. Right. Not influencers. I feel like as influencers, we got to specifically move a little different.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm real protective, and I think that I've heard it before. It's the difference between being secretive and private.
Yeah, for sure.
I just know that in our position, everybody not happy for us.
No, for sure.
Even though we got all this, we got all these supporters, everybody ain't happy for us. And it's so many dudes, especially men. I don't know what it is, man. We live in this culture now where it's like this competition culture, right? I see it even in my lounge. You know, dudes come out, they just, sometimes it ain't even about impressing girls no more. They just want to pop more bottles than the dudes at the next table.
It's so interesting.
It's so crazy, right? But what I also know too is you could be a man of influence, and there's dudes that they sizing you up like, man, all right, he all right.
Yeah.
And then you post your chick, and they like, let me see if I can,
let
me see if I can shoot my shot. Let me see if I could date Alix's chick.
Yeah.
And somebody get satisfaction from that. I don't, like, nobody talks about that though.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I feel like that, again, a lot of that goes to music though, like what you was talking about. It's like, that's the you know, you listen to some of the lyrics and songs, it's like, even if a guy's, like, I know some people that have been married, it's like, they almost still have like a little thought process, like, man, I just wonder what it would be like to be, you know, single in today's world. And I'm just tell you right now, it ain't all this hype up to be, because half of these girls ain't got nothing going on. I'm gonna just let y'all know. I say y'all sometime. You know what I mean? But they are good people, and you know, and I think you got to go through the process of dating and finding that person. And when you find somebody you like, try to make it work. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, that's a little business relationship advice.
And if you date an entrepreneur, just know that you know, it was a funny meme the other day. Like, when you dating an entrepreneur, you an assistant now.
Yeah, that's a fact. You gotta help. You might have to record something. You might have to make some phone calls. You might have to type some stuff in on the computer. Like, you could be, you become all things.
It's gonna take a special woman to date a high level entrepreneur. You know, it's a lot that come with that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of support. It got to be a heavy support system.
Yeah.
Because as you know, what we do sometimes, it mentally, we got to pour into people for a living. And when you pouring into people, you emptying yourself.
Yeah.
So if I'm dating somebody, like, you got to pour back into me when I cut off good energy worldwide.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, you know, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So, like, look, like, all right, because you would be the definition of what people would say is a high value man. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily buy into all of that stuff, but definitely, you know, you do things at a high level. What are some things Alix would be looking for in a potential partner? I'm not talking about your relationship status, but just like, okay, what are some things if I'm a lady or somebody listening or a guy that's listening, what are some things you've seen now you're like, I have to have that?
She got to be a nurturer.
Okay.
Definitely a nurturer. You know what I'm saying?
Like, lay down on the couch, she rub your head without you asking type stuff?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like I just mentioned just now, I pour into people for a living.
Yeah.
So when I cut that off, it got to feel like a vacation with you.
Yeah, I like that.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best way that I can describe the feeling that I need from the woman who I entertain at this point.
Yeah.
I got to feel like we on vacation when I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that everything ain't going to be a honeymoon every day. Obviously, it's real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that energy stuff, bro, when I tell you, like, it ain't just a name for me, bro.
Yeah.
It ain't just a cool name.
Yeah.
That energy stuff is so real. How do I feel when I'm around you?
Yeah, that's a fact.
How do I feel? How does my heart beat when you come in my presence?
Yeah.
There's some people that come around you, and you just,
The energy changed instantly. Like, bruh.
that's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and then there's those people that come around you, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about women right now. Like, it's a woman that can come around you, and it's just like, damn, I love it here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we could do something simple.
Yeah.
We could just be sitting here watching CNN together.
Yeah.
And it's a vibe.
Yeah. I like that. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm all for the fly vacations. I'm all for the 5-star restaurants. But I look to see what the vibe is like when we just chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Does she have to be an entrepreneur?
Nah, she don't got to be an entrepreneur. I personally don't need a woman that is a high-level entrepreneur like me.
It's very interesting because, you know, like sometimes you'll date somebody, they be like, well, if you just want a business person, and it's like, nah, actually that ain't really what I want. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I don't need you to be doing what I'm doing, you know? And I think sometimes people have that misunderstood. So I just wanted to ask you that. So no, they don't have to be an entrepreneur.
No, they don't have to be an entrepreneur, but they definitely can't be lazy. They have to have work ethic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't mind if I love a woman that even wants to learn about what I do.
Yeah. That's tight.
That way, like, if we go out, I'm in a meeting, I can come back and I can talk to you about certain things with the industry.
Yeah.
I had a crazy day with the trucks.
Yeah.
I'm laying down in bed. I would love to be able to talk about some stuff that happened during my day and you understand what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I like when a woman takes initiative to actually figure out what it is that I do and learn it. That's super dope to me. Like, I might need you to help me out with some errands. I might need you to go run a play real quick for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's super dope for me. But just that support. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for a housewife. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I definitely would like a woman to where if, God forbid, something happened to me, God forbid if I made a bad investment and I messed up my bread, we not with a foreclosure note, you can still at least hold it down for yourself at least.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I like that. Balancing all of that, like you got business, you got a dog.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Shout out to Richie.
Shout out to Richie. You know what I'm saying. We gotta have him on this episode.
Facts only. I bring him.
You know what I'm saying. The life of a rich dog. How does it feel? What type of bottled water do you drink? But how does a person? Balance is like an interesting thing. But it's like, okay, you got dating. You got you're very present in your mom's and your family's life. Like you do a lot of stuff. Multiple businesses. How do you go about taking time for yourself?
Oh man, you asked that question right on time, man, because that's what 2023 represents for me. Right? As you know, we in the gym together now.
Yeah, facts. Getting right.
I've never mentally been this locked into the gym before. We've all started, stopped,
Many
stopped.
times.
Right? Many times, right? Let's keep it 100. It's different this year for some reason, bruh. And once I hit the 6-week mark, I was like, all right, I'm on to something.
Yeah, for sure.
I still want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So 2023 is about me doing the things that make me happy. I sacrificed a lot for other people for the last decade.
Yep.
This year, I'm about to get in the best shape of my life. So I work out 3 to 4 times a week.
Yep.
I get massages every week now.
I like that.
You understand? I travel.
Yep.
Whatever I want to do. If it's a concert in another city, if my friends is out and they like go pull up, I'm there. I've probably been on a plane probably about 12 times in the last 7 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Half business, half just cuz.
Yeah. Yep.
If it makes me happy,
Yeah.
I'm doing it this year. I'm about to be 40
Yeah.
in July.
That's wild, bro.
I'm about to do the craziest birthday party you've ever seen at my estate.
This man said estate. Y'all hear that, right? Not the house.
I'm
The estate.
bringing some of my
It is an estate.
Yeah, I'm bringing some of my favorite singers. Right? You remember that show on MTV, Sweet 16?
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be like that.
It's gonna be a sweet 40.
There we go.
You heard?
I love it. I love it.
So
I love that for you, bro.
Yeah. So this year is all about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still on the grind.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you wish you did that earlier in your entrepreneurship career?
no, nah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that because the sacrifice that I made allows me to do whatever the hell I want right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really, and I always like to tell people this, it was an investment.
Yeah.
You know, because a sacrifice is when I give something up and I don't expect to get it back.
Because if I didn't do that, Justin, I feel like I would have survivor's remorse a little bit right now, and I wouldn't feel. I don't feel like I would be as unapologetic about my success now if I didn't make those sacrifices. I'm unapologetic on my life right now.
Talk about survivor's remorse. How does that come into play as an entrepreneur?
Survivor's remorse, where you make it out of a situation and the people that you grew up with, maybe people that you was around, they didn't.
Yeah.
And now you feeling like damn. A lot of sports athletes go through this, right?
Yeah. We see it all the time.
Yeah, and I went through it. I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I go back home sometimes. I ain't even got to call some of the people that I went to elementary school with. They still at the same places they lived in when we was in elementary school. Sitting on that same stoop.
Yep.
Smoking the same weed. And I used to kind of downplay, you know what I'm saying, my life in Atlanta when I went up there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't share a lot of my successes. This is before social media was really, you know what I'm saying?
And you still don't put a lot on there.
That's another story.
Yeah.
Right? But every time in the last 5 years that I would slip into that survivor's remorse, I would remember when I ended up in the hospital from working those 18-hour days. I would remember how my last relationship suffered because I was working so hard that I didn't lost my last relationship because I was putting so much into my business that I wasn't able to nurture my last relationship. I think about all the sacrifices that I had to make to get where I'm at right now, and that gets rid of my survivor's remorse. I earned everything.
Yeah. And you would do it again.
100%.
Same way.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, I think the only thing I would probably change, I would have took my working out a little bit more serious when I was younger.
For sure.
Because, like, a part of it is, like, well, for me it was, you know, if you don't come from a lot, like, my parents were great parents. You know what I'm saying? They did what they could, but, like, it wasn't, like, the steak dinners.
Yeah.
So, like, you get to a phase where you're like, oh, hey, bring me a steak, bring me that salad, bring me that dessert, bring me the drinks. And, like, now you can eat how you want to. And then you switch, be like, okay, well, even though I can afford to do that, I can't do that all the time because it's not even healthy for me.
Yeah.
So if it was one thing I would change, it would probably be like, go hard, Jay, but like kind of chill out on your health. Maybe work out a couple times. I was working, I would do sports and stuff like that, but definitely health was probably one thing I would have probably jumped on. Maybe a little early. I'm 36 now, so maybe when I was 30.
So that you mentioned that, I thought of one. I probably would have built the team a little sooner.
There we go. All right. Let's talk about that. What made you not build a team at the beginning?
For the reason that a lot of people don't build a team because they feel like nobody's gonna do it like them.
The truth is, most people not.
That's a fact. So to get specific dispatching, I thought that nobody can book a load like me. Nobody can negotiate and get the most money for my trucks than me. And I still feel like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Ain't nobody touch me with the kind of this dispatching stuff. But that's what ended me up in the hospital. I'm trying to dispatch 11 trucks by myself.
Yeah.
From the time I woke up at 7 in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night, drivers are calling my phone. Everybody has a different personality. Everybody has a different problem. And I got to be the problem solver for 11 personalities. Don't let an accident happen that day.
Yeah.
I'm through the roof, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably what I would have did different. I was really trying to be this one man show. Like, I did this. I got all these trucks.
Yeah.
And that almost took me out, bro.
Yeah. And had you did that, you wouldn't be able to have the flexibility you have now.
Absolutely.
Because you would still be having to be in the trenches and never. And I think a part of that has to come with one, having the mentality to say, okay, I could train somebody to do it. Also, the ability to share. Because it's like, all right, I will make a little less if I have somebody else do this. but can I do more and also provide an opportunity? Which I think that goes to like leadership, like developing a team, building a team, which is a very, very important skill that I believe every entrepreneur really needs to hone in on when it comes to scaling.
Absolutely.
Business, yeah.
That mindset shift was pivotal for me. And again, I hate going back to it, but it's the mentorship.
Yeah.
Our default brain says, less people involved, I get a bigger cut of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
The true entrepreneur mindset is, let me have more volume, more people involved, take a smaller percentage, but have more streams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So once I did that, and I built the team, my workload became less, and my income skyrocketed.
Yeah. What are like? So it brings up an interesting topic. One, because we always have these things about African Americans working together. Some people say it's very hard. You got the crab in a barrel mentality. That's one side, and then the other side is like most people when they do start a business, they only have the people that's around them. Do you have anything that you could share with somebody about working with a team? Like, okay, I got a team, start working with them together, and some of the people on your staff are African American, so there is a way for people to work together. And how have you been able to manage like the group, everybody being cohesive?
Man, one of the biggest things was listening, observing people at what they're good at and what their strengths are. I've had people in the wrong positions inside my company, and I've literally had to like call a town hall meeting, like, Lauren, I'm taking you off this and I'm putting you on this right here because this don't even match up with your personality.
That's tight.
Because I'm getting on you and I'm giving you warnings because you're not operating in something that's not natural for you.
Yeah.
You understand? So once I really got out of the I'm the boss mentality and more so like, all right, let me really delegate the right people to the right situations. That's what helped me out a lot. Again, one of my favorite questions that I ask my staff is there anything that I can do as the owner better to make your experience better and also to help you operate more efficiently?
That's a good question. That's a great question.
The question is effective for me because now it allows me to make improvements, but it's a double-edged sword because it's also showing my employees like, damn, like I'm working for somebody who like he actually listens to us too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to put
lessons.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's willing to listen to me to help improve, and that creates a whole nother level of respect.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody say. They say you can't mix business with pleasure. I don't care what nobody say. I want the people that work for me to like me.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Respect is one thing for sure, but I want you to like me too.
Yeah.
Because I know the difference when you're working for somebody that you like versus who you hate.
Yeah.
I've had jobs before where I hated my boss. And if there was some corners that I could cut, I'm going to cut them.
Yeah.
But then I've had employees that I worked for that I loved. And if there was an opportunity for me to over-deliver for them, to help them in their business, I did that. So I always remembered what it was like working for those people that I loved versus the ones that I hated. And I always put myself like, all right, for my guys, what can I do to make these people love me? That's important for me.
That's smart. That's a good question everybody should ask themselves daily. We were talking about being synonymous with your industry. What are some tips for somebody that's looking to do that in their space? Like, I'm a new entrepreneur. Maybe I'm in, maybe I've got a podcast. Maybe I'm doing financial literacy. Maybe I'm doing solar cells. Maybe I'm selling cars. Like, how would you today, in today's world, say, okay, this is how a simple format of this is how you become synonymous in your industry?
I got to answer this question in a couple layers, and I ain't gonna draw it out, but I got to answer this question in these layers because it was pivotal to my success.
Yep.
I'm gonna use my course for example.
Okay.
I don't have no affiliate codes for you, none of that. I'm just gonna give you the real what happened with my course. I ain't selling.
Yep.
I dropped my course October 5th, 2018.
Yep.
I did 20 to 30 sales that first month. I was excited. In November, I did 40 sales. Every month it went up by like 10 or 20 people. So it was a small group. We was doing Zoom calls every week. And I really paid attention to my students, and I was learning what ways that I can help them succeed in trucking. I went an entire year of coaching in my course without running one ad, without paying any money for advertisement.
Okay.
During that year, I developed some amazing success stories. I developed some amazing results.
Yep.
A year later, I'm like, all right, cool. I got about 30, 40 strong testimonials, some lives that I've changed. Let's start running the ads now. I started running ads the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. My ads consisted of my students talking about me. Instead of me doing ads of just me selling, I had nothing but ads of my students giving genuine testimonials about me.
Yep.
So if you missed it, instead of me starting a business and then automatically started marketing, I built the business first,
Yeah.
actually created real results, and based my marketing off the results. That's one.
Okay.
Number two, one of my favorites, outspend everybody.
Yep. I like that.
Outspend
everybody.
Everybody. The business grew. I made a lot of capital. I used that capital, some of it, reinvested it into my ads. You're not going to outspend me.
Got it.
A business means nothing if nobody knows about it. I pulled that dog out of me when it came down to marketing.
Yeah.
So not only do I have a good product, I also have the marketing budget to go with it.
Tight. Yep.
That's a dangerous combination right there.
Yep.
A solid product with the advertisement dollars to go with it.
Yep.
So then you look up, we go from 20 to 30 people signing up to 300-400 people a month signing up.
Jeez.
I'm going live every freaking night almost during the pandemic. 2020, everybody's at the crib, trying to figure out what to do. I'm on live every night, pouring into them, free game. My YouTube channel, free game.
So you just are you teaching like the core stuff on live?
Some of it.
Wow. And see, some people ain't gonna do that. They're not gonna teach.
Oh yeah, but you know what I said. You know what I said in Miami.
Go ahead and say it.
I said that if, as a coach, if you feel like you're giving away too much, you don't know enough. You don't know enough. I know a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. So I can go on live for 5 hours every night and you still gonna get the course and be like, damn, it's more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you look up, I'm the only one in the space though doing this at the time. Yeah, it's a bunch of courses now, but guess what? You're too late.
Yeah.
I already solidified my position in this industry. I taught too many people already. I done taught over 36,000 people.
Wow.
We done taught over 36,000 people.
Wow.
And I'm still spending the bag every month on advertisement.
Yeah.
I'm still getting results. So in order for you to catch me, I would have to stop running.
Dang.
That's how you become synonymous in your industry. I'm not letting my foot off the gas. One last thing, digestible. There's people that's way smarter than me. There's people that got way more trucks than me. There's people that's made more money than me in trucking.
Yeah.
But you can't talk it like I talk it. I know how to communicate. That's my gift.
Yeah.
I know how to talk. I know how to take what's in my brain and slice it up into 10 pieces so to make sure that you understand and you can digest it.
Wow. That's strong.
So you put me in any room with any races, what's in my head, I'm going to make sure you walk away and you understand what it is. That's why we blew up. The way I teach. I ain't trying to sound like the smartest person. But I want when you leave, exactly what I was trying to teach you. I want you to be able, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Damn.
That's true.
I want to take the intimidation out of my industry. I took the intimidation out of it. I showed anybody, if you just came home from jail, if you ain't got no education, right? I'm showing you like, yo, you could pull this off. And this is how I did it.
I love it. Dang. I'm going to go back and watch this part right here, y'all. That was some gems. I appreciate you sharing that too, because I think it's going to help a lot of people. Like, yo, if you want to be synonymous, I mean, he literally gave the whole play right there. Now you just got to go.
I am trucking.
Running.
I am trucking. I take the good with the bad. When the industry's doing amazing, I get the credit for it. I get the praise. And guess what? When it's doing, when the industry's on a downturn, when the diesel prices is up, when the rates is down, I gotta take that too, and I'm okay with that.
Yep.
I gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah. You had a clip go viral where he was like, yo, Tesla coming out with a truck, I'm gonna be the guinea pig.
I gotta get it.
Yeah.
I got so much flack for that Tesla truck. They like, oh, it's gonna be taking away drivers. It's gonna take away jobs, and it ain't gonna never work. The infrastructure can't support an electric 18-wheeler. Okay, cool, that's fine, but I'm still gonna get it.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm still gonna get it because that's something that whether we like it or not, the people up top, they want the world to go electric.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of emissions. That's where they going.
Yeah.
So me, in a position that I'm in, as a person who's coaching thousands of people in trucking, would I look like something like this, like something this revolutionary happening, and I'm not a part of it? That don't even make no sense.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I have to make that investment so I can give my firsthand opinions on the product.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So guess what? If it don't work, hey guys, guess what? I tried it. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Don't buy it.
Yeah.
But if it does work, I need to be able to show people how to maximize it.
And that's a whole different world of business.
You know what I'm saying? So don't criticize me. You ain't got to get it. That's what they make sidewalks for. You ain't got to get it. It ain't for you. It's fine. But I'm in position. I'm blessed to the opportunity that I can get it. And if it doesn't work, I'll be okay. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice for my people.
Yeah. Relationships are big. And I've seen you in some of the smallest rooms and some of the biggest rooms. And relationships, I know something that you value. How, if you're talking to a new entrepreneur, like, what is there any tip that you can say, look, this is how I've been able to develop relationships with people, attract them into my life?
I got to use you as an example for that. When you meet new people, I think that by default, humans are programmed to think, okay, all right, this is somebody that I'm talking to new. What is it that I can benefit from this person?
Yeah.
Right? You sizing them up. You try to figure out what all they got going on. How can I get some money with this person? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the other person can feel that. They can sense that.
Right.
I know when I'm in a meeting with somebody who's trying to extract from me. But then you have a situation like me and you, right? I never forget. I didn't know what the heck you did, bro. When I first, when Jason first told me about you, when I first started following you, I was just like, yo, dude, clean cut. He just seemed like I just knew, yo, this dude going somewhere, and I need to align with this dude, right? So when I invited you to my office in Buckhead, we didn't have we gonna talk about this or we gonna chop it up, and we didn't have any pre-motives. It was like, look, just come to my office, and we just gonna have a conversation, and just see what happens. That's it. I had no expectations with you. I just wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
And bro, I approach a lot of my new connections like that.
Wow.
I'm not rushing to do business with you.
No, for sure.
Let's fill each other out.
Yeah. You almost got to date people in business relationships the same way you do in real life.
Yeah.
Like, before you just jump in and marry somebody, you be like, hey, well, let me see if I like you first.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's big.
I'm gonna give something different that you ain't not even expecting me to say. Relationships with me, yo, I respect people's time. I try my best, Justin, to be on time for meetings.
That's a fact. You was on time today. I didn't think you was gonna be on time. I was like, oh, he is here.
And we already friends. We already got our relationship.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
I respect people's time, bro. You'll be surprised what impression that makes. Just being on time, especially for the first meeting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I ain't gonna say the word judge, but I pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I set aside time for you to meet you today. I'm stepping away from how I make money to meet with you to see if we can make some money, and you don't even respect my time. You couldn't even show up on time, bro.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the beginning stages that matters a lot too.
Yep.
That first impression.
Yeah.
And last but not least, brother, relationships. Yo, man, your word got to be everything, man.
Yeah. Yep. Down to customers too. Like some people don't like. I think some people don't understand this. Like I've seen people I bought stuff from people, and I don't even get the delivery. I be done forget. I'm like, damn, I never got that shirt in the mail.
Yeah.
And it's like something simple like that is like that's keeping your word. That's
Yeah.
doing what you say you're going to do. It's so simple, but it goes so far.
Having something to bring to the table, man.
Yeah.
I love when ET calls me, you know, and he like, yo, Al, shoot, you know, I'm trying to get a car for Didi. You know, I'm only get a car. I'm like, all right, cool. Yo, here go my man right here. He own this dealership. He'll take care of you. He ain't gonna rape you.
Wow.
His daughter's birthday was the other day. I'm trying to do something special for her birthday. Yo, I got crew Alpharetta. Pull up.
Yeah.
I got you. We're not gonna charge you what we normally charge. Come through. We're gonna make sure the balloons. We're gonna make sure everything is good for her. Right.
Yeah.
Like I love being that person that's like, damn, I'm glad I got Alix in my life. Like, man, he just makes my life so much easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not here to take.
I'm
not here to take from you.
Yeah.
My relationship. I'm not here to take from you.
Yeah.
I want to be I want to be the plug. Like,
it's being a great asset in a person's life.
and that makes people want to do things for you.
Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. I love it, man. This is a dope conversation, man. I really enjoyed it. And I hope that, one, even if you're not in trucking, there were so many gems that you could apply to your business, which I actually think sometimes that's the best way to learn.
Facts.
There's some things that somebody in your own space may not tell you, or sometimes it's just skills that are transferable. You're like, oh, shoot, I'm about to take that, put that in my work.
Absolutely.
I learned some stuff today, so I hope you all did as well. Where can people find your course, find you? I want to make sure you plug that. Because he ain't selling, but listen, if you've been trucking, I mean, you should probably get the course. I mean,
yeah, I mean, yo, if you interested in trucking, you have family members that drove trucks before. Like a lot of people come to me like, yo, my uncle used to drive trucks. I always wanted to get into it. You're already in the industry, and you like I'm doing all right, but I ain't reaching like my full potential. Like I'm hearing the numbers that other people doing. I ain't doing that. Good Energy Worldwide is for you. You know what I mean? And it ain't even about me. It ain't just about me and me teaching you. It's about the community that we built. It's about the Zoom call replays that you'll be able to go back and like all stones have been unturned when it comes down to the 18-wheelers, when it comes to dispatching. And then 2023, man, what I decided, I wanted to take it to the next level in 2023. I want to be able to reach more people and create more impact in trucking. Trucking is deeper than just 18-wheelers.
it is.
You got dump trucks. You got car haulers. You got tow trucks. You got the oil fields. You got heavy hauling.
Yeah.
Right? It's so many different umbrellas. There's so many things under the trucking transportation umbrella.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's a responsibility of mine to be able to reach more people. So this year, I'm bringing in the experts of all those different industries inside of trucking.
So this is going to be all things transportation. It's almost like an academy for all things transportation.
I named it the Complete Trucking Portal 4 years ago. And I did. And like, okay, but guess what? It wasn't intentional. It was just, I was just 18-wheeler guy.
Yeah.
18-wheelers dispatching. That's all you're getting from me. So when I'm thinking about 2023, I'm like, yo, how I'm calling myself the Complete Trucking Portal, but I ain't got the complete info. So guess what? Every month, I'm bringing in experts, my friends. I don't care what they charge them. I got to pay them $10,000, $20,000 to come. I'm like, look, you ain't coming on here to sell. I need you to come on here and give a full teaching on your industry. January, we did tow trucks. Last month, we did the railroads. This month, I'm doing car hauling. If you're interested in the transportation industry, Good Energy Worldwide is an official one-stop shop, okay? It's education before compensation. It's education before compensation. And come train with the biggest, man. www.goodenergyworldwide.com at Alix_goodenergy, ALIX_good energy on all social media platforms, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you coming through, man. You know what I'm saying? This is great, man. I really enjoyed this. We had some laughs, too. Anytime somebody come, we got the new ACO brand, so I like to bless them with, box. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
Get some
that.
gear. Got, you know, tank tops. I know you've been in the gym.
Yeah,
so
yeah, man.
A couple things. I give you the box and then
You know.
you can grab it. But listen, bro, what you've done in this space it's incredible, bro.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Philly. Appreciate that. And here you go, bro.
appreciate
Also
that,
throw a
bro.
book in there too.
Thank you, man.
My mentor Dave's got a book. Conceive, Believe, and Achieve. Dope book.
Shout out to Dave.
Yeah, I think you really enjoy it. But man, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate what you've done, not only for trucking, but the culture, bro. Like
Absolutely.
people look at what you've been able to do. Some people have modeled it. Some people copied it. You know, that's the greatest form.
I can't train everybody.
Yeah, that's the greatest form of flattery. You know what I'm saying? But like what you've done, and then you know even the stuff that you did for your mom, like that. When you did the stuff for your mom, like shoot, I want to buy my parents' house. Yeah, I want to pay their house off. So it's been an example for me too. And you know, I'm just excited to see what the next 3, 4, 5 decades look for in your life, bro. So
It's
much
up.
love, man. I
Appreciate you, man. Let's get it. Run the play.
Listen, y'all just
go.
heard some of the top plays from my guy, Alix. Good energy. He is in the building and just shared trucking game, relationship game, and you know, listen, it's gonna take your life to the next level. So y'all just got to play. Go run it.
Let's go.
What's going on? Listen, make sure you guys go to runtheplaystore.com. Get your official Run the Play gear. We talk about shirts, socks, jackets for everybody that's Run the Play all across the world.
Are you ready? We're gonna run the play. Let's go. Do you know what it's like to come from nothing at all, but every day you just wanting it all?